Hello, and welcome to episode 20 of Made with Carlenergy. I'm Carlene, and this is my knitting podcast. It is Sunday, April 3rd, 2016. I hope you've had a nice 2 weeks since my last episode, and thanks so much for coming by to see what I've been up to. It's a very strange weather day here. It snowed this morning, and now it's kind of sunny and blue skies, very windy and chilly. It was 70 degrees on Thursday, this past Thursday, and that was really nice. And then the temperature has dropped since then, and we got some random snow this morning. So that was interesting to wake up to. Um, if you can hear the dogs barking, they're currently being a little quiet. But my landlord's dogs have been barking constantly all day because my landlord isn't home, and that's kind of what they do when nobody's home. And yeah, they're in the other part of the house, and I have no way of making them be quiet, so it kind of sucks, but hopefully it'll mostly be quiet. And if they get really noisy, I'll try to pause and restart. So yeah, if you follow me, there they go. If you follow me on Instagram, I am Carlenergy on Instagram, and you might have seen that I have a new parakeet friend. So you are familiar with the dude who is my blue parakeet. And while I was back in New Jersey at my parents' place for Easter last weekend, we stopped by PetSmart. They had to get some dog food, and I ended up falling in love with a parakeet that I just had to bring home with me. So I've been kind of planning on getting another one for a while. I really wanted the dude to have a friend because I'm out of the house at work for most of the day, and I didn't want him to be alone all day. He's always seemed really happy. They are very social birds. I mean, they live in huge flocks in the wild, so they are very social, and they like to have some friends. But the dude has always seemed really pretty happy on his own. And he has a strong bond with me, but I thought, I'd like to have another one. And it was a little weird that it was not just me and the dude at first, but we're all settling in, and it's been really fun to see them interact. And the new guy's name is Edison because he is neon yellow and kind of lime green, and he looks a lot like the Madeline Tosh colorway Edison bulb. So that is his name, and I think it's very appropriate. And I tried to get them over here to say hello and introduce you to Edison, but they're busy with their seeds right now. They're pigging out over there, so I'll introduce you to him eventually. He's still kind of getting used to flying around and stuff, so yeah, he's been really fun to have around. So the first thing I want to do is announce the winner of a pattern giveaway that has been going on since my last episode in my Ravelry group at the Made with Carlenergy podcast. So Mina of the Knitting Expat podcast had generously donated a copy of her new shawl design called Les Mollets, which translates from French to the squishy shawl. It's a brioche shawl, and it comes in two versions, a pretty symmetrical triangle or an asymmetrical triangle. And so I opened a thread in my group with the prompt, what is your favorite word in the knitting vocabulary? And got some really fun responses. I really enjoyed reading all of your different words that you enjoy saying or the meaning of in our wonderful textile vocabulary. And so I went to random.org and drew a winner, and that was post number 14, who is Kirsten of Knitting a Love Song. So she's knitting a love song on Ravelry, and she recently started up her own hand dyeing business, and I do have some of her yarn, which she sent me. So check her out on Etsy at Knitting a Love Song. She's got gorgeous colorways. And so yeah, congratulations, Kirsten. You have won the squishy shawl, and I will let Mina know to send that over to you. And thank you everyone else who entered that thread. It was really fun to read. And another announcement I have is about a sock yarn swap group, which is really cool. So Lisa, who is Life Full of Laugh on Ravelry, messaged me to let me know about a group she started called Sock Yarn Swappers on Ravelry. And they run a lot of sock yarn scrap socks for sock yarn minis, for your scrap blankets, and she also does a lot of swapless swaps where she will create a large order through for an indie dyer, and you can pay for it through PayPal. And she'll make this large order with an indie dyer, and then she separates that yarn into minis and sends them out. So there's 5-gram swaps and 10-gram swaps, and I think right now she's got mustache yarns and mint rain yarns and several other really nice indie dyers. And yeah, it's a really nice way to try some indie dyers and to get some minis without necessarily having to do a swap. So I thought that was a really good idea, a swapless swap. And so yeah, go over to Sock Yarn Swappers group on Ravelry to find out more about that. And yeah, feed your blankets with some minis. And thank you, Lisa, for letting me know about your group, because I didn't know about it, and I am definitely always looking for new ways to get more minis. So yeah, I think with that I can move on to finished object. I finished my Fine and Dandy socks, and I love them. So this is a pattern that you are probably familiar with because lots of podcasters are making them right now. And Amber of the Yarn Junkie podcast and Jacqueline of Brooklyn Knit Folk are hosting a knit along for them until the end of April. And it's such a lovely pattern. It's by Jess of the Sweater Co. And it's a toe-up sock with this beautiful little dandelion stitch pattern all over it. And I made mine in the Fawn Knits, or the Fawn and the Fox yarn by Laura of the Fawn Knits podcast. And this is her terrarium colorway on her fawn base, which is an 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon base. And I just, so Laura did knit these, she test knit the pattern, and as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to do it in the same yarn. And I have no shame for copying because I absolutely love how they came out, and I like that we are sock twinsies. And this yarn is so beautiful. I enjoyed knitting with it so much. I'm kind of sad that it's over. I definitely need more of Laura's yarn. Because just look at the depth of color and all the variations in the speckles, and it's really, really beautiful. And yeah, it kind of pooled, but the way that the stitch pattern works, I really like how you get these different colors in the little flower stitches. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. I really enjoyed learning the toe-up construction because these were my first toe-up socks, and I did them on Magic Loop on my US1 2.25 Chow Goose. And yeah, it was really interesting to learn how to do kind of a backwards gusset, you know. There's no picking up stitches with going this way instead of cuff down, where you have to pick up along the heel flap, but you don't have to pick up stitches along the heel flap when you go toe up. I can't say whether I really, I think I do prefer cuff down still. I don't know. It definitely was interesting to learn, and I think I would definitely use this heel pattern again if I want to do another toe up pattern or another pattern stitch that looks better if it goes toe up instead of cuff down. Yeah, it's really, I feel like it's really useful to know that construction. So yeah, I'm really happy with these. I'm excited to wear them, and they're very springy. And my mom saw me working on these while I was back there for Easter, and now she wants a pair of Fine and Dandies. So I have some stash enhancement that I will show later that will be another pair. And also Jess, the designer, picked one of my photos to feature on her pattern page for the pattern, and that was so flattering. Thank you, Jess. That's the first time that's happened where a designer has picked my photo for to be featured on the pattern page. So that was really exciting and a big surprise, and yeah, that was really fun. So these are going to be going into my box of socks. I finally did get a box for my box of socks, which is a knit along with Kristen of the Yarngasm podcast. She's got a year-long knit along going on, if you haven't heard of it, where you knit 12 pairs of socks at least. You can knit more if you'd like, but knitting 12 pairs of socks to put in a nice box for yourself by the end of 2016. And this is my box for my socks. It is a vintage Samsonite cosmetic case. And I actually have another one of these, which is brown, and that was what I was going to use. But while I was back in New Jersey, my parents and I went antique shopping a little bit, and I found this case, and yeah, I mean, it's just gorgeous. I'm sure Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls likes this because the mint green is her favorite color, and it's one of my favorite colors too. Yeah, so it's I don't know if you can see, it says Samsonite, and it's just, I love this. And actually, what's really nice about it is it still has its little tray where you would keep your cosmetics. Ooh, sorry, yeah, there's a mirror in it, so now you can see my computer. So yeah, it still has this tray in it, and yeah, I might use this for notions and stuff. So inside, yeah, it's got the mirror on the top, and then it's got these little pouches. So very excited to fill this up with socks, and yeah, it was a really good find, and quite inexpensive for what it is. I was really happy to find it at a really nice, reasonable price. So I don't have the key for it, but that's no big deal. So that was an exciting find. And then I do have one half-finished pair of socks. I don't even know if I think I've shown this once on the podcast that I was working on these. This is some opal yarn. I think it's opal 4-ply. I don't know what the colorway number is, but these have just been kind of a background sock where I've been working on it every once in a while if I just want something plain stockinette. So it's just a basic vanilla sock with a 2x2 rib and slip stitch heel turn or heel flap. And these are for me as well, so these will go into the box. I haven't started the second one, but I really should, because I cast on for another pair of socks and I haven't cast on the second sock for this yet. So that's bad. But yeah, I wasn't, well, to be honest, yeah, I finished these and then I started working on this again, and this yarn compared to this yarn, yeah, after knitting with this luxurious cashmere blend, knitting with this just felt really rough, which I like. It's kind of similar to Patton's Croy, I guess, although I think the Croy is a little bit softer. But yeah, I wasn't really, you know, I was just getting through this just to get through it. I wasn't really too excited to be knitting on this, but I do like them. I like the way that the colors came out. It's kind of different. So I will start the second one soon, and yeah, this was on a US one again with Magic Loop. And yeah, I think that brings me to works in progress. So since I finished my Fine and Dandy socks, I started a new sock with some Patton's Croy. This is a discontinued colorway that I've had in my stash for a while. This is the Croy socks in the Summer Moss colorway. So nice, pretty colorway. And yeah, I had to start these because they match my Fawn and the Fox bag very well. And that's what I have my Fine and Dandies in, of course. So Yeah, I started this nice stripy sock. I'm going to try to get these finished by April 15th, which is the deadline for Candace of Pin Feathers and Pearls, her stripy socks cow. So that's why I wanted to get these started, so I could have some stripy socks for her knit along. So I might be able to finish these in a couple weeks. So I can enter in that. And yep, magic loop again, US 1, very boring vanilla sock pattern. So I forgot how much I like knitting with Croy. I love Croy socks. And yeah, I think a lot of people do go up to a US 1.5 for the Croy since it is thicker. But I like it at this nice dense gauge. That's the same thing with, yeah, with this Opal 4-ply. It was a little dense for the US ones, but I like how dense it is. They're going to be nice, warm, tough winter socks. So I don't mind the gauge with the US ones for the Croy. I think it's nice. And on here, oh, I forgot to bring the note over, but my friend Amber over at the Yarn Junkie podcast sent me a little bit of a belated Valentine's Day gift. So she made an envelope out of a folded heart. So she cut out a heart and folded it and then taped around the edges, and that's what she sent this in as the envelope. So that was really sweet. And she wrote me a really sweet note saying that she made this stitch marker and she just had to send it to me because it's a little bird. And look at the little clasp, it's a heart. And so that was so sweet, and the wing is a heart too. It's getting blown out, but maybe you can kind of see that the little wing is a heart. And that was such a sweet surprise in the mail. Thank you, Amber. I really love this little progress keeper. And I was using it on my Fine and Dandy socks. And then I finished them, so I put it on my bag. Yeah, it's one of my favorite stitch markers now. Really sweet. So thank you for that surprise. And I haven't started any other pieces for my Birch Bay pullover. I showed in my last episode that I had finished the back, and I haven't touched it since then. I haven't started the front. I just haven't had the time to sit down and concentrate on the tubular cast on again. So yeah, that hasn't seen any progress, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm enjoying that as more of a slow project, since it's a winter sweater, and yeah, it's not winter anymore, although today kind of is winter again. But I did put a little progress into my Luca shawl, and again, it doesn't look like there's been that much because the rows are really long now, so it doesn't grow lengthwise very much. So this is where it shows where I was last time. So I've added another inch, I guess. And you can see how oh, that looks like a mistake. Oh no! I think I have a bit of a drop stitch there. Eek! Let's show you another part. That looks a little better. Yeah, I'll have to fix that. It looks like it's easy enough to fix. Yikes! So yeah, but it's coming along really nicely, and I really enjoy working with this yarn. This is the Brooklyn Tweeds Plains yarn. They're lace weight. That is a limited edition. I think they still have some available. I'm tempted to order some more in this other colorway, but we'll see. But yeah, really enjoying this still. Picking it up every once in a while. And I am hosting a knit along, co-hosting along with Gabby of the Once Upon a Corgi podcast and Denise of the Yarn Geek podcast. We are all knitting the Luca shawl, so we have threads open in our groups if you want to join us. And I'm very happy that Stephanie of the Milkshed blog and the Yarn Chat podcast has joined in. And also Jess of the Sweater Co., who designed the Fine and Dandy socks, is knitting a Luca. So that's really nice to have those two join us. And yeah, it's really, I feel like it's a pretty intuitive pattern as far as knowing where your next yarn over or decrease needs to be. So it looks really intimidating, but I feel like it's a very rhythmic pattern. So I would give it a shot if you are interested. And yeah, we're extending the deadline. I think we had the deadline at April 30th, and so we've extended it through through May 30th or May 31st, I guess. So you have more time. And yeah, I'm really trying to dedicate, you know, a good chunk of time every couple of days to this. It is fun to work on, but it does just gets a little tiring after a while with all the lace work. I also put a bunch of new squares on my scrap blanket yeah, in the 2 weeks that I last recorded. I think I added at least 20 squares. And with mine, since the way that I'm shaping it, it's harder to tell you to show like where the progress is. But yeah, it's basically like these 3 rows are all new. So I just wanted to point out a couple. So a lot of these are from the swap I did with Sarah. So thank you, Sarah. You've added a big chunk to my blanket, which is great. She sent me about 24 minis, I think, maybe more than that. But this is the Fawn and the Fox yarn from my Fine and Dandy socks, so I got that in there. I think these 2 are from Mina of the Knitting Expat. Yeah, these 2 are from Sarah. So is this one, so is this one. This is No Makers, which I've never knit with before, so thank you for that. That's really nice yarn. Yeah, a lot of these are from Sarah. And then this one is from Sarah of the Naughty Gnome Crafts podcast. This is some of her hand spun. So that one is hand spun, and then there's another. Oh yeah, this is Sarah's hand spun as well. So those are really exciting to put in there. The only other hand spun I have in here, I think, is this one, which is my own hand spun. So thank you, both Sarahs, for contributing to my blanket in really lovely ways. And yeah, it's as wide as it's going to get. It's about as wide as a queen size bed. And now I'm just going up, and it's still pretty scarf sized, but it's starting to look like a blanket, I think. So yeah, I put it down for another few months, and then yeah, every time I picked this up to work on it, I ended up adding at least 20 squares within a few days because I just get really obsessed with it again. So it was nice to add to. And I'm pretty much keeping up with sewing in my ends. I think there's a couple that I have to go back and sew in, but yeah, I sew the ends into the kind of the seams that are created between the squares. So the top ends always have to kind of wait until I add another square, so I have a seam to weave in, if that made sense. But yeah, there are a couple that I got kind of lazy about, and I need to go back and do that. But I've been keeping up with it pretty well, because I don't want to end up like it was for a while, where it was just a tangled mess, and that made me not want to work on it. And so my last work in progress for this week, I think, is an out of hibernation project. Yay! I picked up my Doodler again. Awesome! I don't know why this was languishing for so long, to be honest. First of all, I've been keeping it in my awesome chow glue bag with the sexy lumberjacks. The lumber sexuals. Yeah. So it's nice to have this back out and getting to look at it. So yeah, my Doodler. Started it in November during the Mystery Knit Along. It's a excuse me, sorry about that. So this was the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along for 2015. And I was doing well with keeping up with the clues, and then I got to the 3rd clue, and it's these huge short row wedges with about 600, or it's like 580 stitches, and I I ended up putting it down for a while because my stitch count was off in some of the sections, and I got frustrated. I think what happened was there's these sections where you're doing yarn over knit one for a couple stitches, and I think what I did was I added an extra yarn over in a few of the sections, and so then on the next row where I had to decrease, I had this extra stitch. So there's a section where you have to knit two together for a little bit, and yeah, so I picked it up yesterday, and all I did was I would knit two together, and then when I had the extra stitch, I would just knit three together to get rid of that extra stitch. And that actually only happened for a few of the sections, so a few of the sections in between the stitch markers. And then I ended up getting the right count again for the rest of it. So I think it was only 2 or 3 sections where I had an extra stitch, and I just got rid of it by knitting 3 together instead of 2 together. So yeah, all that to say, don't know why I left this in the project bag for so long, just for a silly little thing like that. I mean, it's a sea of garter stitch, so no one's gonna know that there is a knit 3 together instead of a knit 2 together. So I'm really glad to be working on this again. So when I picked it up, I was on the last row of the variegated section, and so I've knit this much of the green. And to refresh your memory on the yarns that I used, the variegated is Duck Duck Wool in their 80/20 merino silk blend, fingering weight. It's really, really beautiful. I got that at the India Untangled trunk show before Rhinebeck last year. And this green is the Salt Marsh colorway by Skeiny Dipping in her merino single, also bought at India Untangled. And then this teal is a mystery yarn. It was sent to me by a really nice person on Ravelry who sent me some yarn after my house got destroyed in Superstorm Sandy a few years ago. So she kindly sent me some yarn because a lot of my yarn was ruined in that that big horrible event. So yeah, I had a few ladies send me some yarn. And I had the ball band for this, and I've lost it, but it's really lovely color with a lot of nice tonal variation in it. So yeah, I like this even more than I did when I stopped working on it. It's really nice to be picking it back up again, and yeah, I really wanted to work on something really mindless yesterday, so it was really nice to pick up and just have all this garter stitch to look forward to. I really don't mind a whole bunch of garter stitch, especially when the yarn, is really nice. I mean, I love all these colors and these textures, so I really enjoy doing a bunch of mindless garter stitch when I can just enjoy the yarn and the motion of knitting with it, and yeah, so I'm really excited that I am going to finish this now. I definitely want to put a lot of time into this week and maybe get it finished by my next podcast. So yay, the Doodler, finally! And yeah, Kristen of Yarngasm definitely inspired me to pick this back up again since she finished hers in no time at all. So yay, Doodler. And I'm using size 4, my Chowgu interchangeables, 3.5 millimeter, which is what's called for in the pattern. Yeah, I think that covers all the things that I've been working on. I still feel very guilty about my spinning because it's really hasn't been happening. I've gradually picked this up every once in a while. This is a little ball of fluff that Kristen sent me that she blended on her hackle. So I've picked this up every once in a while to spin, but I have not sat at my wheel in months, and I feel really bad that I got my wheel in October and spun a few things, and since then it's just been decorative really. So I really need to get back to that. I need to figure out a project that will inspire me to start spinning again on my wheel. Um, I might get a craftsy class maybe. I think a lot of it is that I'm still not sure exactly what I'm doing with the wheel. So um, it would be nice to get one of the craftsy classes and actually put some time into that. But anyway, I do have a little bit of stash enhancement. Really shouldn't, but part of it is guilt-free because it's what my mom got for me to make her some fine and dandy socks. So while I was back there in New Jersey, we went to Mount Holly, which is about an hour away from where we live, and we went to Wool Bearers, which is a huge yarn shop in Mount Holly, New Jersey. They have a huge selection. They pretty much have anything you could want. They have a lot of samples hanging everywhere, a lot of books, a lot of tools. They have spinning supplies and wheels, so really nice shop. And yeah, my mom had seen my socks, and so she picked out some koi goo for me to make her a pair. This is the KPPM, so yeah, the painter's palette, and this is color number P718137. Or I guess it's P718, and then the dye lot is 137. Yeah, I know, they really need to hire somebody to come up with names. But yeah, so koi goo, they have such beautiful colorways. It's really a shame that they don't have pretty names for them. But I think that'll look nice with the fine and dandy pattern. Be nice and speckly and springy. So that's the guilt-free since I didn't pay for it. And I've had my eye on this yarn for a while. I haven't taken it out of the bag because it looks so pretty. It looks like candy. I don't know. I don't know why, but for some reason I think it looks like a bag of candy instead of yarn. But so this is, I first saw this colorway on the Bee Mandarines podcast with Melody. She was knitting socks out of this one. So this is a French yarn. I don't know how to pronounce it, but Bergère. It's yeah, Bergère or whatever de France. This is the Gumi 50 base. So it's a 3-ply sock yarn, 75% wool, 25% polyamide. And yeah, I really like, this is the Imprim Beige colorway, and I really love it. It's delicate pinks with some hot pink speckles and taupes and peaches. And so I got 2 of those, and then I got the chair colorway for contrasting heels and toes, and maybe cuffs. I haven't decided whether I want to do the cuffs in this as well. I know I want to do the toes and heels, but I'm undecided on whether the cuffs should be contrasting too. I don't know, but yeah, I think it'll look nice. It's a little more pink than any of the colors in this one, but I think it'll be cute. So, and then I got a gray, which is the Poutre colorway. I'm sure I mispronounced that, but I got this gray just to have in my stash if I want to do contrasting toes and heels on, you know, on another sock and just want a very neutral color. So it feels really nice. I'm excited to knit with it. And it looks pretty thin. I'll definitely use a US 1. But yeah, it feels nice. I think it's going to be really nice to knit with. So I want to cast those on soon. Also want to cast these on soon. And then I've got the Patton's Croy stripe socks going. But yeah, so I have my Croy socks going, and then I have 2 empty US 1 needles since I finished one of these, and yeah, I have another needle free. So I really should cast on the second one of this, but I kind of just want to use those 2 needles to cast on these 2 pairs. We'll see where my self-control is. The whole thing with me bringing the Doodler back out was I was really tempted to start my Waiting for Rain shawl because I really want to participate in Kristen's knit along for that. And yeah, so I was trying to find needle cords, trying to kind of switch things around. So I would have a needle cord free to use for it. And yeah, I decided that I needed to finish my Doodler before I started another shawl. So yeah, I really wanted to start my Waiting for Rain, but Kristen did extend the deadline, I think, until the end of May, so I have a little time, and yeah, I want to finish this first so I can feel a little bit better about casting on another big garter stitch, mostly garter stitch shawl. So yeah, that's that. Sorry, I feel like I've been pretty rambly. So let me look at my notes. I think that might be it, really. I'm really trying to catch up with podcasts still. I'm behind on some of my favorites, and there are definitely some that I've been hearing about all over the place and just haven't checked out yet. So if you have given me a shout out, I definitely have heard my name on many podcasts lately. Thank you guys so much. It's so nice to hear you guys mention me, and if you have mentioned me and I haven't responded about it, I'm sorry. I don't know, I've been really behind on them, and I've been watching a lot of stuff on Hulu and Netflix instead of watching podcasts recently, and I've just been busy and out of the house with friends, socializing a lot, so I'm really trying to keep up with everything, but it's been hectic. I've also been really busy at work. So, so yeah, thank you guys for staying in touch and tuning in and yeah, all your support. I'm stalling because I feel like I'm forgetting something, but that's pretty much everything I wrote down. Again, I hope that my little bird friends will come out on the next episode. I did watch Pin Feathers and Pearls this morning, and Yoshi, Candace's bird, had a close-up. So, hi Yoshi, and Edison says hello to his new virtual podcast bird friend, and the dude says hello as well. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'll wrap it up, and I hope to record again next weekend. And thank you for watching. Thank you for keeping up with me on Ravelry. Join the Luca Shawl if you would like. I'd love to see more Lucas going on. It's really not too hard, I promise. After that circular cast on, it moves along pretty nicely. I am gonna go into that row and figure out what I did in that big hole that I accidentally showed off. So that'll be my immediate priority after I stop recording. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your weekend, enjoy your week, and I will see you soon. Bye.